So, good evening once more. And like I said, we are going to treat test cases, or can say test plan or test cases in software development. So, without wasting time, let's get to our lesson notes and we'll start discussing. So, in software development, a test plan and test cases are essential components of testing process to ensure the quality and reliability of the software uh, being developed. After software development or configuration, we don't just deploy the software. There is need for proper testing, not just thorough testing. Every software needs to go through a lot of testing stage in order to make sure that we meet the quality specification for that particular software within the dev environment before we can say, okay, we're happy now, everything is working, and now we deploy to the production environment where everybody can start using it. We have been working together. Even you see that even after testing within our dev environment, even before we can publish our application, our mobile application to the Google Play Store, you can see that Google will not even allow us to publish. Google will have to subject us to thorough testing as well. So many of you have been part of the testing where the testing have to go through, make sure that people uses the software within their own environment and there is no much bug, no complaint. And if we have bug, we resolve all the bug we have or issues before deploying to production environment. So these are all we call testing in software development. We have dedicated people that does this test. We have people we call testers in software development. You can equally call them quality assurance analysts. But if we don't have these people in our project team, business analyst does this job as well. It's the duty of business analyst to do all this. You know, as a business analyst, it's part of the things you learn. You need to learn to test because business analyst is their duty to, design the software. That's why we call some business analysis, we call some solution architects. Architect is kind of designing the solution. We call them technical business analysts as well. So these are various names. We call them software engineers as well. But these names start from the second stage of the project, which is solution design, or you can call it define stage. So as a business analyst, after designing a software, you should be able to at least have basic understanding, not basic, you should be able to test the application you design. And to do that, you need to create test plan and test cases. So this is where this comes in. So a test plan is a document that outlines the approach, objectives, scope, resources, and schedule for testing particular software system or application. It provides a roadmap for the testing activities and help ensure that all aspects of the software are thoroughly tested. So just like we say a plan, it's just a plan, a roadmap on how to. So that little deliverable within the software development, the little deliverable called testing, you have to plan it. You have to find out the date. You have to find the people that are supposed to be involved in testing. So it's proper planning. And planning, part of the planning mainly is you have to design a test case. Every aspect of the testing is called a test case. So if we have all the user stories, a user story, we should know what user story is all about. User story is a small feature in a software. I'm not going to go back to statistics. So that user stories, every user story must be tested. Like we say, all these things are user stories. The last time I told you that if you come like this file here, we can say that file is a feature in Google Doc. And if you click on this, all these can be called user stories. These are small features inside this bigger feature called file, and they can be called user stories. So small softwares. So all these small softwares, they must be tested. All the features must be tested and make sure that they are working very well before we go out and tell the public to come and start using our product or come and start buying our product, come and start subscribing or things like that. A test case is a set of conditions. Now we're now trying to understand a test case, testing a particular user story. That's what we call test case. So it's called set of condition, variables, or inputs, and corresponding expected results to determine whether a specific feature or aspect of the software is working correctly. Test cases are designed to validate that the software functions according to specified requirements. So it's a validation. To validate that, we either testing, we say this particular feature of Dynamics 365 CRM that we configured is working. And because it's working, we pass it. If it doesn't work, we fail it. There is no two ways about it. It's either pass or fail. That is the way we validate all the features that we configure. So in software test cases, the test cases is broken down into so many components. And that's what makes it a test case. It's a document that have a lot of components, which we are going to look at very soon. So the first component here is test case ID. Every test case must have an ID. It's a unique identifier. Unique identifier is that it's unique and it identifies a particular feature or user story. It's a unique that no other test case will have that ID, and is in a kind of alphanumeric. So it must contain an alphabet and it contains a number as well. Like it can be ID 101 or TC 101. That is where test cases ID. So that's what we call test case ID. So it's a unique identifier for each test case, usually number or alphanumeric code to distinguish it from other test cases. Another component is test case title. It's a brief description or title that provides an overview of what the test case is testing. Another component is action/description. Detailed steps or action to be performed by the tester to execute the test case. Test environment. Information about the environment in which the test should be conducted, such as operating system, hardware, software version, etc. So if you are testing, let's say we want to test a GoCabo application or mobile application, or whichever one we want to, where are we conducting that test? That is what we call test environment. If we're conducting it, it has to be on GoCabo mobile app. And it must be, GoCabo have different versions. As you know now, the version we are using here of GoCabo mobile app is version 2 because we've done a major upgrade. So we are now using version 2 of GoCabo. We will still have our version 1, but we are using version 2. So you need to specify the version. By the time we finish with our next upgrade we're working up, is going to be version 3. So if you are conducting a test, you must specify the version you are conducting that test. Like in a CRM system, we're going to do a CRM system, and we must specify the version of the CRM system we are using. Preconditions. That's another component. A test case must have a precondition. Precondition is what must be, satisfied, what you need to meet up before you can start this testing. So condition that must be fulfilled before executing test cases, often related to the initial state of the software or specifications. Most of the condition must be that you have to log into the system. So logging into the system, you cannot test without first logging into the system. It's a precondition. So login will give you access to the environment you are going to perform the test. Then after the test, we have what we call expected result. Before we start testing, we already have to write down what the result will look like. So we are monitoring our testing against that result. If that test, the outcome of our test does not meet up with our expected result, is a total fail. We are going to fail that test. So the expected outcome or behavior that the software should exhibit when the test case is executed successfully. That's test result. Then we'll have validation, pass or fail. Indicate whether the test case passes. The actual results should match the expected results. And that is pass. And fail. The actual results differ from the expected result. That is failure. We have to record it. So if you are trying to create a test case and your test cases do not have all these components, then your test case is not complete. So let's look at a test case example here. So in this test case, using every of these components, you look at this is test case ID is TC001. Test case title is login functionality test. Action/description is open the application enter valid username and password, and click login. Click the login button. That is the action. This is what whoever is conducting the test. These are the three sets of activity the person needs to perform in order to carry out the test. And the test environment is Windows 10 Chrome browser version 92.0. That is the environment. Precondition, application is installed and configured. So before you can tell, you must have installed this Chrome window browser, Windows 10 Chrome browser version 92.0. So, and expected result, user is logged in successfully. Validation, pass or fail should be pass if user log in, and fail if user is not able to log in. So that is test case. A set of case, a test case, a clear example of a good test case. This is what I've just stated. Then let's look at a full-blown case study using Dynamics 365 CRM. So if you are creating a test case, for instance, if you have successfully designed a test case, I don't know which application we are using. I don't know if you people we are going to use Dynamics 365 CRM. I don't know if we are going to use Soho. I don't know if we are going to use Salesforce. There are so many CRM in the market. So whichever one we choose to implement. But if we choose to use Dynamics 365 CRM, this is a demo of a test case for Dynamics 365 CRM. And here we have test case ID, we have title, we have actions through description, we have environment, test environment, we have precondition, we have expected result, we have a validation, pass or fail, and we have remark. Remark here is that well, after everything, if it fails, we must write the reason why it fails so that the developers will know what happened during the testing. And then after every test, if it fails, you need to go back for the developers to fix the bug. And after fixing the bug, you come back for another testing called regression testing. That is how we continue until it starts working. We need to continue to fix and retest until it's working. So after the initial testing, every other testing is called regression testing. So now this is TC001, create the user story, or the feature here is to create a new lead. In Dynamics 365, we need to configure a lead so that whoever is using Dynamics 365, like sales rep, should be able to create a lead. And then the lead are potential customers or potential clients. Like what we are doing now in GoCable, we are asking people to go get drivers. At this point, what we should be doing is all these drivers we are calling them lead at this point. And that's what I told so many of you people. If you are looking for this driver, the easiest way for us to use to get them is to create a WhatsApp group. We see anybody that is interested, that is a driver, collect the number, add the person on the WhatsApp, the person become a lead. Even if the person have not downloaded the app, the person is a lead. And from there, we can start convincing the person to register. And if the person do not meet the requirement, we can even assist them, teach them what to do in order to meet our requirement. So potential client is what we call lead. So in here, we're trying to configure the lead. And after configuring the lead, we need to test the lead. So the action that I need to do is that log in as a sales representative, navigate through the lead creation, and then test environment is, before you can do that, it must be inside the CRM test environment. So you must log into CRM. And precondition is that you must log in as a sales representative. And the expected result is that after you log in, using the lead feature, you should be able to create a lead successfully. And once anybody using the system can always see the amount of lead we have. And once that is done, you come over here, you pass. But when you are trying to create the lead, and the lead, you cannot create a lead within the CRM system, you fail. So this will make you come here and give the reason. You stated that what you did, all the things you did and it didn't work, you stated here, so that the developers will know the actual thing or that happened. And if we are creating this if we want to fix it, we can even capture it as a bug, as one of our product backlog. It can be called a bug, and you can even capture the screenshot of what happened when we are trying to create the lead that didn't work, to help the developers know what happened. But when that is happening, even when we are conducting a test, developers should be there as well to observe what is happening. So we cannot do our testing without developers. So that is how a real test case should be in a real application. Then we have another test case here. You see the ID for this first test case is TC is T is for test and C is for case. That is test case, and the 001, that is number 1. And then you see TC02. So this is a unique identifier. None of the test cases here will have the same ID. Now is to assign lead to a sales representative. Once we've created a lead, the next thing is to assign lead. So to do that, log in as, that is the action or the description. Log in as a sales manager, that is the action here, and the sales manager assigns a lead to a sales rep. That is the activity there or the action there, and it should be in CRM system. And the precondition is to user log into the system as a sales manager. Once that is done, lead must be assigned to a selected. With there, if you go to a CRM system, if you want to assign a lead to a CRM, to a sales rep to start, working on that lead, to convert the lead. If we have so many or different sales rep, you should be able to see a drop down where you are going to select a particular lead that is not do not have so much workload, and assign a lead. So you should be able to assign a lead. When you want to assign a lead and you couldn't assign a lead, like you see here, trying to assign a lead, you see there is no record of any assignment. If you assign a lead, you should see a record where that the lead is successfully assigned. And if you see it, you should know who is working on that particular lead. But when you assign on that, and there is no, it means that it's not working. So there is no way you can see whom the lead is being assigned to. So another one is track lead status. So there are so many of them here. You see, so these are different test cases. So that is what we mean. I'm not going to start reading all of them one by one. The purpose is here is I will make all these notes available for download for you to go through of them. But you've seen how we have track lead status, schedule follow-up tags for lead, that is TC4, TC005 generates sales team performance reports, and TC006 search lead based on criteria, and TC007 import leads in bulk from external source. This means that if like you have a lead, if you are all like as you are now, you guys are going out to recruit drivers, and you use Excel documents to store the names of all the drivers and their numbers. Most of the CRM system will have a situation you can use that import all of them in a bulk than putting them one by one. You can just import them in bulk. That's what this one means. So these are what we call test cases. That's how it looks like. And yeah, so this is just the same thing. So that is how it looks like if you want to create a test case. In most cases, I create my test cases attached to my product backlog. And it is going to look like this when I create that. This is a copy of a product backlog for D365 CRM product backlog. So, and then at the end here, I attach another document called test case. So you see it here. You see at the end of this sky blue is where the product backlog ends. And then test case starts from here. So per every user story, we have a test case for it. For every user story, we have a test case for it. And these are all the test cases we have here. And at the end of the day, this is what I expect you people. This kind of document you should create, So by the time we finish, we should be able to create a product backlog like this and test cases like this. The test cases we just discussed is like TC001 create a new lead. The action here is log in as a sales representative, navigate to lead creation. Test environment is CRM test environment. Precondition, user is logged in as a sales representative. Expected results, a new lead is successfully created. If we can achieve that, we give it a pass. So that is it. But we only, at the point of creating these test cases, this is the way it should be, because we've not done anything here. So for now, this is where it should be, because by the time we start testing, that is after testing, that is when we must have finished doing our configuration or building our software. That is when we have to use this test case for validation. By that time, that is when we have to start selecting pass or fail. But at the moment we've not started, it must be like this. So this is how a good test case should look like. So that's it. And that will bring us to the end of this workshop. So we still have few minutes to 8 o'clock for us to ask our question. So that's what it's going to be. So out of my own benevolence, I'm going to make this document. I don't know if I've given you this document, but it's part of the document I'm going to make available for you guys to use. So you don't go start creating it or afresh, or if you can do that, good and fine, but I expect maybe over time you are getting hang of the whole thing, then you can start trying to, but this will help you to do that. And if you are trying to understand how all these things come about, let's lead all this and that, or to know these user stories, you have to understand a particular solution you want to implement. So if you want to implement a Dynamics 365, you have to go and read it to understand how that system works. Everything about Dynamics 365, all the features, you understand them. Then you understand what is the requirement, what is the stakeholders are asking for you. In your own case, which you are working already, we're asking you people that want to improve our lead generation. Lead generation, don't have a good lead generation. Looking at our Go Kabu project, you see that it's not good to use a WhatsApp to manage a lead or manage our clients. And we are using CRM, we are using WhatsApp, everything. So if you have a software we can use like CRM system, it's going to make things good. And all our drivers will have their record in a CRM system where we can log in and manage them very well and update their record. So these are how all these things work. Okay, we're here. Let's take a few questions. I can see Mr. Charles Okoye and a few others raising their hands. And let's do that. Mr. Charles Okoye, you can have the floor.
Okay, good evening, sir. I don't know whether you are hearing me, sir.
I can hear you very well, and I think other people are hearing you as well.
Okay, sir. Okay, my question is the text now that you just explained to us is what we do at the development stage after the software must have been, they finished developing it. But there's a particular test that was not touched here, and that is a UAT. I think user acceptance testing. How can one capture that kind of test?
That is what we've done. That is what we've just done. You know,
okay.
The test case. This test case is what we are going to use to perform action called user acceptance test.
Okay.
You know, we are yet to get to user acceptance. User acceptance test is action that will be performed when the software is fully developed or configured. So these test cases we are creating is in preparation for user acceptance tests.
Okay, sir.
So that's a UAT is that is when we are going to use this test case. So at the point you are is part of the planning, part of the designing. You are doing as a business analyst, you are designing everything you are going to implement. You are at the designing stage. So you have designed the application by creating a product backlog, which contains user stories and acceptance criteria. You've equally captured use case diagram, but you didn't capture how these user stories that you've designed, how is it going to be tested? So you have to create a test plan. Test plan, within the test plan, the main thing we need to capture within the test plan is to create a test case for all the user story we've created. So when we get to UAT, which will come, UAT is going to be the last thing in the execute stage. After UAT, the next thing is to close the project. So, but we need to create plan for UAT. When we get to UAT and we don't have test cases, what are we going to test? What are the plan to carry out the UAT test?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Well explained.
You're welcome. And we have Angela George.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
And thank you for the class. Very short and on
You're
point.
welcome.
My question is still on the testing. While you were talking, you said if we test and it fails, we should test again. And we should give a remark and keep testing. So, ma'am, I want to ask, if at initial testing, if it doesn't fail, like it scales through, are we still supposed to give a remark?
No. Once you say pass, everybody know that it passed. What are you remarking while you are here? You only give remark when it didn't meet the expectation. You need to write what happened, that it didn't meet our expectation. So that is the remark. But once you show pass, you don't need to tell anybody why it passed. It's already passed. You have met all the conditions we want to see. And that is the main thing. So, but if he did not meet the requirements, mean that he didn't pass, you have to state your observation during the testing. But whoever is going to work on that, because it might be why we do make that, keep that log or that observation or record, is that what if the developer that did the configuration all of a sudden, immediately after the test, decide to resign from the company and you hire another developer to fix the bug? The developer will then have to look at the remarks or the feedback you captured, you log in order to work on. You can't say because developers are here, after all, they are seeing what I'm doing. There is need for log. And again, if there is something like called auditors, system audit or whichever audit, they want to audit what happened in that project. They need to look at every activity, everything that happened in the project. So that's why you need to put that kind of remarks.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, so that is it. If you don't have any other question, the next thing to do is our next thing on this business analysis is we need to have we've done it before in project management. We did agile project management, where we talk about Scrum and everything pertaining Scrum. We did it. Can you remember? Can we remember anything about we doing agile project management, or have we forgotten?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we remember.
Yes, sir.
So
We remember, sir. We remember.
So we need to do that again, maybe within the week. I need to find a period to fix it, so we refresh our memory. We do that. because that is what we are going to use to implement the CRM system. And after that, we are just trying to tidy up. This project is coming to an end, both extension projects and CRM system projects. So that you can go and explore the world and make the money. So that's my prayer. So, and all the people, all the team lead, I encourage you to start putting your report together. If your team didn't do well, I cannot kill myself. If your team did well, then we see how we can take it from the next step. Any team that didn't recruit drivers, good and fine. We go Kaboom must go on. And that is my prayer. So thank you for participating, and I will see you soon.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
I don't know.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
don't
Charles.
know some people. Let me give
Thank
you.
you. We are grateful.
Let me give you one this thing. When there's what we call closing remark. When a closing remark is made, you are not supposed to raise your hand for any comment. Once you have been given opportunity to make a comment, make comment within that time. Ask question within that time. Professionally, when there is what we call closing remark, conclusive remark, most of the time, the closing remark, maybe we'll leave the closing remark for the most senior person in an organization, or even the governor or the president. They can have a question and answer this thing. After everything, the person give a closing remark. But I see once you give a closing remark, some people will start raising, is it we don't know about all this, or we don't inexperience or what? Huh? Don't do that. Once I finish closing remarks, some people start raising their hand. Are they sleeping when they're asking them question or what? Or is it they have never been in an organization, or they've never been in the, I don't know. But if this is the first time of being in an organized organization, learn this one this night. No matter how important your question is, and the closing remark has been given, no more question should be, or any comment from any other person should be entertained. So learning so that even if you are going out in the world or somewhere, you will not sound like, where are you coming? People might be just looking at where is this one coming from. So thank you and good night.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Yeah. When Mike, I
Thank
hear
you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Good night.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Good night.
So,
Good night, sir. Good night.
yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Charles.
Sir.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Thank you and good night. Good night,
Good night.
sir.